Hello and welcome back. This is Leaders Fuel Daily. We are now at episode number 20. And I know I got that right because I just did number 19.
Rock and roll.
I'm here with Dr. Zach Ayala. Zach, thank you so much for being involved in this and jumping in on this. I appreciate you being here very
It's
much.
an honor to be here.
So you are launching headlong into your chiropractic business, and we are going to hear all about that and everything that we need to know. And we're going to make sure that people have a way to get a hold of you as we go along. But you know what I've found, Zach, and I know that you and I both have a story. You don't know this about me yet. But I'm actually probably alive today because of chiropractic care.
Wow.
And so I'll just say this, and I have a reason for saying it. So I had pneumonia 3 times before I was a year old. And I was in the hospital the third time. And as I've been told, the prognosis was not good. I wasn't expected to make it through the weekend. And by the grace of God, I did.
Amen.
And I did. And it was after that my mom started seeking out some other alternatives to what she had been doing. And I started probably right at about a year or somewhere, right before that, working with a chiropractor or him working with me. Dr. Glenn Hazy, the guy I owe much of my health to him. So he helped my mom to understand that the level of antibiotics my body was on was actually compromising my immune system and therefore contributing to the recurrence of pneumonia. And I have a long journey of health with that doctor and with other doctors. And as it happens, the best man in my wedding and my best friend is a world-class chiropractor in Southeast Missouri.
That's
So
awesome.
I often share things, Dr. Russell Sherling. So I have quite an affinity. Our kids were each 3 days old when they got their first chiropractic adjustment.
Wow.
So that's my story somewhat.
Yeah.
But I find, and I want to hear about what what was your journey? What led you into doing, this, going on this pathway? Uh, and I'll stop there. I have some other thoughts I want to share, but talk
Yeah.
about what actually got you into the idea of becoming a chiropractor?
Well, Rick, that was a really good story. I mean, gosh, you would be surprised. I mean, not everybody goes down that route when they're 1 year old and they're stuck in the hospital and they're
Yeah.
getting medications pumped in. And listen, there's a time and place. I understand that there is a time and place for medicine, and I
Mm-hmm,
completely agree with it.
mm-hmm,
However, gosh, my journey into chiropractic was a little bit more unique. It was more curiosity based. I didn't have a story, and
mm-hmm,
for the longest time, I believed that I needed one.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
But really, what my biggest interest in chiropractic turned into my curiosity of what science I was learning and everything. When I was younger, and I probably shouldn't have done this, but me and my dad liked to watch war movies
mm-hmm,
together. So Saving Private Ryan and all these
mm-hmm,
really cool movies, and it might be gruesome, but these guys would, these terrible scenes where people are getting their arms,
mm-hmm,
decapitated and everything. But the thing is that these people wouldn't die. Okay,
mm-hmm,
bear with me here.
mm-hmm,
The thing is that normally, like, you would think that your heart's beating and there's arteries that go right across your chest and they go
mm-hmm,
right into the arm and they feed your
mm-hmm,
hands. You need lots of blood there. But for some reason, like, these people aren't actually bleeding. They put pressure on the wound and then the body actually stops sending blood there.
mm-hmm,
And I was thinking to myself, but why?
mm-hmm,
What's the reason why this is happening? Of course, there's a biofeedback mechanism, blood pressure, it responds to those things. And
mm-hmm,
it, in fact, actually uses what's called blood shunting.
mm-hmm,
This is a concept that I learned about that I had no idea why it was happening.
mm-hmm,
But in reality, you learn it in school that this is a phenomenon that happens in that situation. And the body was just smart enough to know.
mm-hmm,
That is what triggered my curiosity. It
mm-hmm,
just knows.
mm-hmm,
And that is when I started to ask more questions. I started to uncover a little bit more in my classes, and I wanted to pursue something with the human body because I knew that there was something more than just the fact that we were going to get, why does the body heal its own wounds? Why is it able to do that? And that's what started my journey. People told me also that I had a chiropractic personality, whatever
Mhm.
that means.
Right.
Sure.
Right. Yeah.
But it was curiosity, Rick. I mean, quite honestly, I just started studying and I learned what innate intelligence was. I
Mhm.
learned the body heals the body.
Mhm.
It's the power that made the body heals the body, and
Mhm.
that's what got me curious, and that's
Mhm.
why I started to learn more and fuel my journey.
Oh, that's outstanding. I love that and love
It's a gruesome story. I'd hate.
well, no, but it's a great illustration of uh I mean, who'd have thought that we would have been, designed with that capacity for that eventuality,
Right.
that responsiveness, and that that there's something in our design that is built even for extreme eventualities of survival.
Right, exactly. And
And
we have to tap into that.
yeah, yeah.
And that's simply what we do with chiropractic care. I mean, and genuinely people a lot of times associate it with pain, and that's usually what gets people in the door. But I'm telling you, when you kind of like you've talked to me about in your story with pneumonia, I mean,
Hmm.
your health journey was just so unique because you
Hmm.
got that opportunity from a very young age to start to see how health could curve
Yeah.
outside of the use of, and like I said, there's times and place for all of medications, and it's good for
Hmm.
saving lives and it makes us live
Oh
longer.
yeah, yeah.
There's other ways, because we want to make sure that those years that we do live
Hmm.
are higher quality too.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, no, I agree. And listen, a full thing. I'm alive because of pharmaceuticals. So there's a whole
Hmm.
other story, another story for another day. So
No,
both I've
absolutely.
benefited in my life through both. I do find, and I'd like to hear your take on this. I do find that those who go upon the entrepreneurial journey do tend to be much more open to the idea of what we would call alternative, by the way, which is really an interesting way that we even have of looking at it. But the whole idea of it being an alternative medicine, because um, so let me just stop there. Let me hear your reflection on that. What do you think about this theory that I have about people that are on an entrepreneurial journey might be more inclined to choose other forms than the sort of traditional route that's been, pretty well established in the Western world?
Yeah. Well, entrepreneurs just think differently.
Mm,
And I think that's what this whole entire group in this page is about. We think
mm,
differently.
yeah.
And we really start to think about not necessarily what the normal I-85 highway version is, and how can we get to a place where it's
Yeah.
like, okay, how can we get there by thinking a little bit smarter, differently, and using a unique tool
Yeah.
to our advantage? Instead of being handed the shield, why don't
Hmm.
we build it based on what our environment is?
Mm,
And in entrepreneurial situations, we really have to think that way, right? Because each entrepreneurial journey is different. Personally, I'm on my own
hmm.
and I've been in school my entire life.
Hmm.
How else do you do it? Well, you have to think of new tools. You build relationships that help benefit where you're
Hmm.
going, or you find this new product that says, hey, man, this could really help you.
Hmm.
Getting a coach that tells you their
Hmm.
perspective.
Hmm.
The
Hmm. Hmm.
perspective of entrepreneurs is just so unique because we think so differently
Yeah.
because we took a chance.
Hmm. Yeah.
We took
Yeah.
a chance, and
Hmm.
not everybody does that.
No.
Let's just point that out, guys. You took a chance,
Right.
and heck, I'm proud to be in like-minded people
Mm.
because um, that takes a lot.
Yeah. And not only does not everyone goes on that journey, but most don't stay on that journey.
Hmm.
One thing that I created was called the Heroic Entrepreneur, and it really is about. So there's something called the Monomyth, and there's a gentleman, Joseph Campbell. What he did is he went and looked at all the mythological stories around the world, and what he realized is they were all the same story,
Hmm.
and that in those stories there are critical points along the journey. And so what I did is I came along behind that and I said, you know what, that is actually the entrepreneur's journey. And
Hmm.
so I just put it into a teaching where we look at each step, and for each step, you answer for yourself a heroic question. What is that question about each stage? And so um, I said all that to say that statistically, there'll be 6.5 million businesses that will open, and 80% of those won't make it 5 years. And of the remaining, then most of those won't make it. And because there is a risk. Even the word entrepreneur is really, in the definition of it, is someone who goes first. So they kind of step out on alone, or they go out and do something that's new, and then they take a risk, and a higher than greater financial risk. So risk is baked into it, but with the risk is the reward.
Absolutely.
And with the opportunity to create, and I would say co-create something
Mm-hmm.
with your life and with your business. So yeah.
That's awesome. And to add to that, I would say too that there seems in that program that you're talking about and that you're developing and that you're
Mm-hmm.
teaching,
Mm-hmm.
seems like there's some overarching concepts.
For sure.
And I think that that is what, as a thinker, as entrepreneur thinking
Mm-hmm.
goes, there are certain concepts that we have to know and live by, and there's
Mm-hmm.
certain laws of healing that I have to live by that I
Right.
can't change.
Mm-hmm.
But hey, if we can get creative, if we can see if we're looking at a box that is the truth,
Mm-hmm.
and Rick, you're on the north side, I'm on the south side, we're
Mm-hmm.
both looking at the truth.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing is, you're looking at it from your angle and I'm
Mm-hmm.
looking at it from mine.
Yeah.
There has to be somebody over on the right and on the left, and
Mm-hmm.
heck, at every angle.
Mm-hmm.
And they have this powerful arcing concept of perspective of that concept of the truth.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
We use that in so many different ways. It's the same in healthcare.
Mm-hmm.
There's medicine, there's physical therapy, there's chiropractic,
Mm-hmm.
there's acupuncture, there's CB, there's all kinds of different versions of what the truth might be.
Yes.
But our overarching goal is to get to that
Mm-hmm.
overarching truth.
Yeah.
What you're teaching in that, it stimulates my curiosity, and I can see
Mm-hmm.
why you're thinking the way you're thinking, because there's rudimentary truth in the concepts,
Yeah.
and we can
Yes, for
learn
sure.
to use those.
Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty universal for sure. And it's something to which anyone who is truly on an entrepreneurial journey can relate. And I find sometimes that we're going through things and it can feel overwhelming, but the opportunity to put the right word on exactly what is happening right now can be very empowering,
Hmm.
and it can be very helpful. And also to know that uh, while no one can make our journey for us, other people have made this journey, and other people are making this journey.
Mm-hmm.
And so we can enter into the understanding of the more universal nature of it, and know that we can participate in that process, in those processes on which everyone is going, in a very intentional and more engaged way. and
Absolutely.
and we grow from that, and there's so much more to that. But so
We will.
you're yeah, absolutely. So let me ask you this: like right now, what is a particular maybe work or something that you're into that's just kind of fueling, what's helping fuel your entrepreneurial journey right now? Anything you're reading or
Yeah.
studying?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I'm a consistent learner. I've learned this about myself, is that if I'm not learning,
Hmm.
I remain stagnant.
Yeah.
And for me, that messes with my mental, that controls everything. I've been a student my whole life, so learning is huge.
Yeah.
It's actually one of the things that I have in my personal mission statement, is to be a consistent learner.
Hmm.
Um, and one of the things I'm learning now is reading the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People.
Hmm.
This has been, it's one of those books that's a staple in the self-improvement realm.
Hmm.
I've never read it, and
Hmm.
so I'm listening to it on audiobook. It's another thing that we've been talking about perspective.
Hmm.
One of the things that really it taught me with time management, of course, that's a effective person needs to be able to manage their time effectively and plan
Hmm.
their time effectively.
Hmm.
And I think, as a really good thing that I've pulled from this book that I love to share, is the way that they actually schedule what your tasks are,
Yeah.
right?
Hmm.
There's 4 quadrants of thinking.
Hmm.
In quadrant 1, you have your urgent and your important things that you have to get done. This is
Hmm.
things that
Hmm.
show up that are like, hey, I got to get this done today.
Hmm.
Quadrant 2 is your important, but not necessarily urgent. This is where planning falls into place. So you're planning your week, you're doing proactive things to make sure they don't show up in a way where you're scrambling to get something done. Quadrant 3 is going to be urgent but unimportant. And quadrant 4 is going to be you're not urgent and not important.
Yeah.
So this is a lot of society. I'm going to tell you this, and this is what the book teaches, is that they live in quadrant 1. This is like, I got to get this done. It's in your face. It's da 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 da. And as entrepreneurs, guess what? We live there. It's because there's so much being stimulated and thrown at us, and we want to grow, we want to do this, and we want to make sure we're on time and doing all these different things. And we start cramming everything into quadrant 1 because we think it's urgent and we think it's important. Our quadrant 2 is our planning, where we say, well, okay, what's actually important? Not necessarily what's urgent, but what's important. A lot of people, about 20% of people live here. And the people who live in quadrant 1 will go to quadrant 4 more often because it's a non-urgent, non-important place to escape to. So whether that be watching TV on the couch when you feel debilitated because you have so much you got going on, you play video games for 8 hours a day. I mean, and listen, there's a time and place for it, but the problem is that so much of our lives is stuck in this thinking of we have to get everything done, and it's all on us, the entrepreneur. It's we shoulder the weight because everything it breathes and dies because of that. But what the book teaches, it shows you what the power of weekly planning is, not daily. You sit on Sunday and you match your spirit, you sit there and you think, what are the important values in my relationships, in my family, in my workspace, in my own headspace, in my diet. We're considering all of those different things, and we're showing our brain, listen, there are things in this quadrant 1 that we really have to consider, or else we're gonna tank. But we can level where we're like, okay, I'm managing me now. I'm contributing to my relationships. I'm contributing to myself. I am contributing to my business, to my health, to all of the above, to my spiritual health, all of it, because it needs attention. And we often get flustered, then escape to quadrant 4 because we can't really handle how much that we're missing. And we just get flustered and we just, no, I give up.
Yeah. No, that I love all that. And so let me say a couple of things. So I mentioned the heroic entrepreneur. There's another study that we've done, and I will come back and I will offer it again. And it's on a little work by a guy, Charles Hummel, and it's called The Tyranny of the Urgent. And Gonstead, never let the important things be at the mercy of the things that are urgent. And so it really, that whole thing speaks into that. And I actually share the 4 quadrants that you're talking about in that. And such a great understanding. We're mostly, it's a common trap for us to fall into, is we just get busy being busy. And I like the idea, think in, think out, meaning think into action. So this Sunday time that you're talking about, this planning time, is incredibly powerful. And I'll share more about that in a minute. But the idea is that we don't typically take time to pause and think into the action that we're going to be doing, and to be able to sort out the urgent from the important, and to be able to understand the different levels of interaction. And honestly, I've found that thinking into action is a presencing activity, meaning that I can be the most present in the moment with the people that I'm with if I take time to think into action. And therefore, I can add the most value. And I can be the most specific about what is the meaning of this? What is the reason why? What is the purpose of the activity that I'm doing, or the meeting that I'm having? And then thinking out allows you to just reflect and go, okay, so what did I learn there? What's going to help me? Was there something maybe, I could have said this a little differently, or I could have responded, or maybe I should have spoke up more then, or maybe I should have been more quiet. What did I miss? What was someone trying to say or communicate to me? What were the unsaid things that I was missing in that conversation? Those sort of things. So all of that's built in, by the way, to this. This is my book, The Entrepreneur's GPS.
Love that.
And essentially there's a lot to it, but the heart of this book is that it gets into a weekly calibration where you take that time on Sunday, and then every day you're interacting with your calendar. And it's that process that you're talking about that keeps us spending the right amount of time in the right quadrants and being able to, be the most effective and most helpful, I think,
That's good.
as we're
That's
doing
good.
it. So for me, I mean, these things have been incredibly important for me, and I'm a methodical strategist. So I want to help these processes that we're doing. I want to help bring some structure and some order to it to just facilitate greater success in what we really want to do. And so I didn't intend for this to be a commercial, by the way.
No, heck no. But I mean, but the thing is that but it's a tool. It's perfect because we need tools. We need, like we just talked about this. I mean, this is a concept that there are versions of the truth. There are ways to spend your time. We lack tools as humans, we lack discipline, wherever that is. That's why we have coaches. That's how we have people that are on our team to make sure these things happen.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure you've probably run into these people that are kind of in this quadrant 1 and quadrant 4, like, just escaping and just like lost. And I've been there. I mean, I've been there in the past couple of months. I mean, it's tough. It takes a lot of discipline to sit by yourself and analyze what you're doing.
Yeah.
Because then you got to sit there and come to terms with your mistakes. And that's difficult too. But absolutely, I think that what you're talking about is crucial, and it absolutely makes sense.
Well, the beauty of what you're saying is that your field is chiropractic. So you could take a person who runs an excavator all day and they run an excavation business. You could take a person who's an architect. You could take a person who operates a bakery. Anyone who's out there doing this kind of entrepreneurial journey is going to experience these same things. And, listen, I just had a conversation with someone. If you want to really learn something the best, if you really want to retain the most knowledge and be able to apply the most, teach it. And so for me, why do I build stuff like this? Because I need it, because I've benefited from them, and it's a constantly staying in, hanging on to the image and just staying in the process, and being able to make the investment. I think in being ready and willing to make the investment in your growth, because those who invest in their own growth are the ones who actually accelerate what's going on in every area of their lives, really. And I'm no stranger to that process. And it's great to have a community of people that can also be there and help support and encourage your journey, and it matters. And people that are valued, like-minded, are the people that we need to be surrounded with to really give us the best support on this journey.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Yeah.
That's what this page is about, and I love being a part of it.
Well, I appreciate it.
Something really awesome. So
well,
thanks for doing that.
I appreciate it, and I want it to grow. And my vision for it is much bigger than it currently exists in its state. And I'm just going to keep pressing into it and let that unfold. I hope people will bring more people to it. And what my intention is that we'll offer more and more teaching and content for entrepreneurial empowerment and things that we can do with it. And I really would like it to be a platform by which other people's businesses can be launched and empowered, and not just Leaders Fuel, but other people as well. So I appreciate any contribution. Yeah, any contribution that any other people make to that, and we help ourselves and we help others as we do that. And this is a great platform for that. So we do need to hear about your business, and we need to hear everything that you need to tell us about your business. So share that.
Thank you for the opportunity to do that. Right now, Upstate Clinic of Chiropractic is located in Powdersville
Mm-hmm.
on Highway 153. We are right now just filling up the books. It's been a really humbling journey. I'm out there in the community doing screenings and just sharing not just like the word of chiropractic, but it is just educating people on what we do. Because a
Mm-hmm.
lot of people don't know. Um, it's right now we're still not open. We have construction going on. I
Mm-hmm.
just came from the office and
Mm-hmm.
talked with the flooring. I mean, this is happening, and
Mm-hmm.
it's 2 months out. July is our date
Mm.
where we're gonna hit the gas, and this
Mm-hmm.
thing is gonna go.
Nice.
It's absolutely exciting. This part of the journey has been super challenging, but super rewarding. Just like the risk reward has been there. Um, it's just going to be me in the clinic. I mean, of course, I'm going to hire a few people to help get the phones going. And I mean, people need to understand and feel comfortable with those people. So we're going to
Mm-hmm.
get that going as well. But
Mm-hmm.
it's coming. July 19th is when we're going to see our first patient.
Mm-hmm.
But until then, we rock and roll. So it's exciting stuff. Upstate Clinic of Chiropractic, Powdersville, South Carolina. And I think that's all I need to say about the business.
Yeah, sure. Well, let me ask, as far as chiropractic care goes,
Mhm.
what has been of some strong interest of you and things that you're going to bring to your practice that as you've, kind of prepared for this and ready to launch, sort of some methods or some specializations or any of that kind of thing. Talk about some of those.
Thank you for reminding me.
Hmm.
Technology. That's
Yeah.
in short, technology. I
Hmm.
mean, I was taught in an old school art form. I
Hmm.
do the Gonstead technique, which is a very unique technique where we actually gown our patients and we take our time with our analysis to make
Hmm.
sure we're in the exact spot.
Hmm.
That's old fashioned work. I use my hands,
Hmm.
but we are implementing new technology such as decompression,
Hmm.
not only of the spine, but of the knee.
Hmm.
These are things where people are kind of beyond the point of adjusting
Hmm.
and they're just really stoved up and they need something a little bit more passive.
Hmm.
We have the technology for that, and we
Hmm.
use that in our office as a
Hmm.
way to help them with any kind of discomforts they're experiencing or getting to wherever their goals are.
Hmm.
I'm telling you, Rick, this stuff gets people out of wheelchairs. It's phenomenal.
That's great.
I got to see it firsthand. But on top of that, we also run different programs. So we're running a knee pain protocol as well as a shoulder pain protocol.
Hmm.
As the practice evolves, we're also going to implement peripheral neuropathy protocols.
Yeah, nice. Nice.
These are all different ways to help with these conditions that people who can't kneel down and can't walk can go up and down stairs, getting down with the grandkids. I mean, just little things like that where people are just like, I think I need surgery.
Hmm.
I'm here to tell you that there's another way. There's
Mm.
other way, and there's a time and place. Again, I'm not poo-pooing anybody.
Mm-hmm.
That is not my goal here.
Right.
My goal
Yeah.
is to show you options.
Yes. That's a
And
great word.
yeah, we have options because that's what people lack the education and knowledge of. In
Hmm.
my office, we make sure we people that are bone on bone, people that have had shoulder issues their whole life from an injury they had when they were 17,
Hmm.
that's me.
Hmm.
There's all kinds of different things that we deal with in our office that is incredibly effective.
Hmm.
And so those are our different ways of sharing that we have a complete different program for that.
Yes.
Chiropractic is one, it can absolutely help everybody, but we need to make sure that we're turning to, okay, let's take care of the knee, because if we don't do that, none of this stays.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
anyway, that's our niche program.
Hmm.
It's designed to serve and help people in the best way, but
Hmm.
from an entrepreneur perspective as well, it really changes the dynamic structure of the business.
Hmm.
So there's two sides to the coin, which
Hmm.
I'm learning this side. I've plenty of experience in the chiropractic realm, but
Hmm.
this is the one I'm learning and I'm getting great coaching on, but also I'm really passionate about it
Nice.
because this is I got to watch it work
Hmm.
by one of the best guys in the biz, and the
Hmm.
closest guy that's doing this stuff is in Atlanta. I mean,
Hmm.
it's powerful stuff, but
Hmm.
not everybody knows about it. So
Sure. Yeah.
mhm,
Yeah.
that's what we do.
Well, outstanding. Well, is there anything that we've missed that we might need to grab hold of before we say sayonara and we sign off here? And anything else that we need to?
No, I'm gonna go with a resounding no. But you know what? It's been an absolute pleasure just getting to talk about it. I mean, obviously, us entrepreneurs, we love to talk about our business, and I am no exception. And I'm just happy to be a part of the program, and it's been really an honor getting to get to know you a little bit better.
Likewise.
And getting to share this show with you. So it's awesome.
Absolutely. Well, we will say goodbye for now, and I appreciate you.